I'm getting swole. So where is the specificity when it comes to power building? If you follow the trend of a typical periodization model when it comes to powerlifting, you have hypertrophy, strength, peak. Or most of the time, if you're a bodybuilder, you'll just do hypertrophy blocks, hypertrophy, hypertrophy, hypertrophy. And then for powerlifting, you do all three. Now, when it comes to powerlifting, what is the main goal of powerlifting? The main goal of powerlifting is not to be huge and jacked. The goal of powerlifting is to lift as much weight as you can on competition day. Granted, that comes with a lot of heavy single work. When I'm coaching, when I'm programming, I have been taking a lot more of a bottom up approach, in that instead of having like hypertrophy blocks, strength blocks and then peaking blocks, I tend to do developmental blocks and see what works for the athlete. But it's kind of opened my eyes, and it's kind of took a more of a holistic approach when it comes to programming in terms of what works better for the athlete. Now, if you're getting stronger in your lifts, if you get stronger in your squat, bench, deadlift, row, whatever it is, if you're getting stronger, no matter what rep range it is, no matter how much volume you're doing, if you're getting stronger, that is the main point of powerlifting, is to get your big free lifts up. Let's take one of my clients, Georgia, for example. So coming into a competition, she does not respond well to anything below 6 reps. Anything. Now, if I took a traditional strength and peaking model, then all of the gains she would have made in her hypertrophy phase would have been lost, and she wouldn't have gotten stronger. Now, what I've done is, because I know she responds really, really well to anything above 8 reps, I actually peaked her while she was doing a lot of volume work. And that's just because it works for her. Now, not everyone's going to be able to do this. If some people get that much volume, they might tire out and they might not peak properly, while Georgia peaked really, really well. Everyone's different. While I know Brandon, another client of mine, he prefers and he responds better to lower rep work, so I hardly give him high rep work because it doesn't really work for him. Granted, I give him some on his accessories, but most of the time it's fives in his main movement, and then in his secondary movements I'm not going to give him more than 8 because he doesn't really respond well to that. In essence, individuals are all different, and looking at what actually works for the individual rather than sticking within your hypertrophy, strength, peak, then look and see what works best for the athlete, because if they're getting stronger, they're getting bigger. I feel like with power building, people assume that because you're doing more than 8 reps you're going to get really strong. That's not the case. Otherwise, everybody would be walking around huge. Why go through all that trouble of doing hypertrophy work? Loads of junk volume, that's not going to work for you when you can do something already in an off season, or I call them developmental blocks, throughout your training, and find what works best for you and then act accordingly on that. Because what's the point in doing something that doesn't work? Just focus on stuff that works for you. Take more of an holistic approach to things and find out what works best for you, rather than just thinking that doing 15 reps is going to get you bigger. Find what works best for you, your accessory exercises. Does pause work better for you? What kind of rep range works best for you? What volume works best for you to get stronger in the free lifts? That's what's going to count at the end of the day, not how big and jacked you look when you're on a powerlifting platform, because no one cares about that. For example, one of my mates' brothers said to me the other day, "You don't look like you can lift 215 kilos, like squat." And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a bodybuilder. Like, I don't try and look, I want to be big, but I don't, that's not, my aim is not to look as big and jacked as possible. My aim is to lift weight. Now, if I don't look like I can lift 215 kilos, I don't. Do I look like I can lift 250 kilo deadlift? Probably not, because I'm not bothered about I want to be big, obviously, but that's not my main goal. My priority is get my squat, bench and deadlift up. Find what works best for you and just go from there, and stop buying into all this magic pill shit that power building's got to be the next best thing to get you stronger. No, the thing that's going to get you stronger is by lifting heavier weights, by training to almost failure, and looking at exercises that work best for you, that increase your total. If you're increasing your total, you're getting stronger. That's all that matters if you're a power lifter. So yeah, I might get some nasty comments, but yeah, that's my take on power building.